In this video, I'm going to show you how to do on-page SEO exactly the way we do it, and I'm going to do it by showing you an article that we wrote a little while ago and run through the article in a video format, and I'm going to show you all the strategies, all the techniques to use to grow your SEO campaign with no need for us, no need for any other agency. And if you are an agency, take notes, because this is something that we have very good data to suggest these are very accurate suggestions and things that really impact on-page SEO. So I'll kick things off. There's three main categories of SEO: your on-page, your off-page, and your technical. So on-page SEO is everything from schema markup to the content that's on the website and so forth. The technical SEO is your performance, your servers, where everything's sort of being indexed from, whether your sitemaps are up, so forth, and then your off page, which is your outreach, your backlink profile, and everything like that. So we're covering 1/3 of SEO. Now they're all not equal. Everyone will argue they're of different scales. I'd say the biggest is off page, followed by on page, followed by technical. However, most will now argue this is on page is the most important content creation. However, we have the data and we use data to make our decisions, and data suggests otherwise as of right now. So there's heaps of ranking factors. On page is just one of them, and on page is then broken down into hundreds, if not thousands, of other categories. But we're covering the ones that we know have data to back up and suggest that these are the best impactors and what you should focus on your website. So we'll go through things like understanding what a search engine is, the meta tags, title tags, social media tags, schema markup, load performance, server locations. Now these are technically technical SEO, but they are needed to be noted on. Geo-tagging, above the fold content, quality of the content, multimedia and images, optimization of the URL, using secured servers, internal linking, external linking, mobile friendliness, and obviously our key takeouts. And then obviously we're trying to sell a service at the end there too. That's not what this video was about. Obviously we are an SEO company. However, we sell our SEO based on the fact that it occasionally for some businesses is too tricky to do. And in that instance, come to us. We're happy to help out. But we'll provide you exactly what we're doing for your service anyway. So a search engine is effectively trying to answer a question or a query entered into it. So if when you search for a query, how to remove paint, you're effectively wanting to find out how to remove paint. It's the search engine's job to provide you the best and most accurate way to remove paint. It's not going to be very helpful if you try and load a page and it's about how to feed a pet, how to do something else. It's not very efficient. So the search engine's job and its primary use is to serve the most useful of content at the top to make the user happy. If the user's constantly not being served the accurate result or what they're trying to find out, they're going to go elsewhere for their information. Obviously, at this point, the search engine can no longer sell advertising space or impressions or anything like that. So it's of huge value to them to make sure that they're serving the absolute best possible result for any type of query. Now, not all of these queries are served equally from a values perspective. Obviously, how to remove paint is a DIY type term. There's no good serving them a position for a local painter. The user isn't after a local painter. The user is trying to do it themselves. An electrician near me, on the other hand, is someone trying to find a local electrician. Showing them how to do electrical work won't be of value, so show them the local electricians. What time does Woolworths close? You're obviously trying to find out. You want to go down to Woolworths. You're trying to find out when it's going to close today. So it's going to show you that time. Now, typically with things like this, it's going to show you a snippet at the top of exactly when it's going to close, your local Woolworths locations, and be able to serve you their times in which they're closing. So that's very valuable information. That's what you expect to be seen. How do you optimize for those terms? And obviously we go into a few other videos about targeting keywords and keyword research it's very important to make sure that there's value in them. Obviously, out of these, there's not, you only want to target this one. You wouldn't want to target these for a business. So watch those keyword research videos. It's really important to make sure you're focusing on the most important keywords for your business and not targeting keywords just for the sake of targeting keywords. You want to have value there. So understanding that, it's really important to take note of how search engines work, why they do what they do, their ratio, their importance in the market. Google's obviously taking up 92.81% of the market. This is a worldwide survey. However, there are other sources of this, and this is constantly changing that suggest other information, but it is very evident that Google is the focus here. Optimizing for other search engines is near on useless. You should, but it's not something that you should actively do. If you're optimizing for one, you're typically optimizing for all, as long as you're doing it the proper way, by the book, and making sure that you follow all the steps. In order to do this, after you've followed and understand how search engines work, you really want to look at your title tags, your meta tags, your meta descriptions, and those sort of tags that will help impact the result in what you're trying to service. If someone's searching for local electrician or electrician Sydney, you really want to show a Sydney electrician. You don't want to show a Brisbane-based electrician. So having in your title tag electrician Sydney would be of value, or Sydney electrician. So this is really important. These are typically kept in a title tag. You really want to increase your CTR, so click-through rate. This can be done in several different ways. We cover another video. I'll link it in the description for how to do that. You want to add things like brackets. You want to add things like questions. You want to add your business name, and you want to add something that someone wants to click on. There's no use having Sydney electrician Sydney. That's not going to rank. It's not going to get clicked on. It's not appealing. Create something that's of value to the user, and really consider the user's intent. If the user's intent is to find something very specific, make sure that your title, it looks appealing, it looks clickable, and you will get a higher click-through rate. That is very important for breaking those top 5 positions in Google. If you're under that top 5 position, you will not rank higher without increasing CTR. It is factual that you will not increase above position 5. So make sure that that's a huge focus for you on that. The same goes for description tags. Make sure that you've got a question within your description. Make sure that it is answering the user's search query, and make sure that you're making it appealing to the user. So you can do this in several different ways. Obviously, leaving something unanswered can be of value as well. Having your phone number in there obviously is not going to increase your CTR. It might increase your calls, but it will lower your CTR, which will lower your position in Google, which will ultimately, in turn, lower your calls. So having it as an open question can get them to click it and get them to make an action on your website, which will improve your rankings, which will improve the actions over time. Having things like the social media tags, these are very important because a lot of people are sharing information online nowadays. Even on your own social media profile, if you're sharing a blog or a page, it's really important to make sure that useful information is on that page. Now, these are harder to add. You might need to approach a web developer or your current existing web developer to add these for you. We can definitely help you out there if need be. However, adding these is important to help search engines understand your content as well. So you've got your Twitter data, you've got your Facebook data, and then your essential data, which effectively gets used by all bots from Google, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, the lot. So make sure that you've got these in place. It's not as important for a search engine ranking perspective. However, showing your information consistently across the web is really important. Schema markup, probably one of the biggest, if not the most important ranking factor right now to take advantage of is schema markup. There is some very useful information here. I'll link that in the description of this video. However, taking advantage of these massive ads here can really help you rank a lot higher. There's FAQ schemas, right here we've got a breadcrumb schema, image schema, a rating or review schema. You've got the recipe schema, including the calories, title tag, description tag. You've got the calories, the votes, the date published, and a sitemap, which is effectively used within the site to identify content found within an article. So taking up this much real estate makes your ad so much more appealing to something that may or may not have that schema data, which will in turn increase your CTR, which will in turn increase your results within the search engine rankings. So schema can be done one of three ways: JSON, microdata, and RDFA data, in that order of preference according to Google's sort of statements. They've published information that they prefer JSON data, as it is a readable, structured, formatted piece of information that is crystal clear. There's no sort of guessing work at all done, where the other pieces of data seems to be within the content of the page, which is a little bit harder to access. So Schema is a collaborative community activity with a mission to create, maintain, and promote schemas for structured data on the internet or web pages, in email messages, and beyond. So structured data is massively used throughout the internet nowadays, so it's really important to make sure that you're using it and you're identifying structured data on your website that may or may not already be there. If you are on WordPress, and I'm sorry if that is you, you can download Yoast. There are plenty of schemas available within the Yoast application. If you're not on WordPress, congratulations. You can contact your web developer and they can add it and take advantage of those structured data immediately. Some of the most important ones right now: organization, website, web page, and breadcrumbs. These are ones that we strongly recommend using on every single website, no matter your industry or business. You can have these structured data on your website. Depending on your industry or business, you should have a local business, review, blog posting, or article, product or person structured data for blog posts. So ensure that you have at least some of these implemented on your website. It is very important. Now, Google has made it very clear that they want to have quick, fast, responsive websites. It's very important nowadays to ensure that your website is up to speed, its performance is far beyond what anyone else's is, and to make sure that mobile is up to scratch. So Google's mobile first indexing, which we'll cover shortly in this article, has been rolled out in 2018. So it's very important now to optimize for mobile and make sure that your performance is up to scratch. This can depend on numerous different circumstances. Typically, the biggest ones will be server performance, image optimization, CSS, JavaScript, and sort of your overall HTML structured data. So server location is probably one of the harder ones to change. However, you want to make sure that if your target audience is Brisbane, that you've got a server close to Brisbane. Don't get a server in America. The ping to get, so the way the servers have to operate is they have to ping different servers. So if you're here and your server's here, I have to ping here, and then it has to come back. So the request comes back, and then I finally get served what I need to do. If you're serving from a server location close to the user, it goes bing, bing. It's very quick. So it's important to make sure that you know where your server location is. If you don't have a close server location, your performance will be impacted severely. So please make sure that you're aware. And if you are in the US, you do have a lot more options than us in Australia. We've got Melbourne and Sydney. However, in the US, you've obviously got a lot more, but you want to make sure that you've got a server close to your location. Not all servers are created equally though. Some servers, the host will allow hundreds, if not thousands of people on the same server, which will impact your performance severely. Having a premium hosting provider can help you only have a couple sort of people on your server or a dedicated server that can allow your performance to be, impacted severely and be ranking a lot higher due to those performance improvements. So make sure that those are done. Now, media optimization is something that you'll hear very commonly around the performance of a website, it's very important to make sure that you're optimizing these images down to the smallest possible size. We recommend 3 services right here: Kraken, Tiny PNG or Tiny JPEG, effectively the same business, or ImageKit. ImageKit is a fantastic tool for converting dynamic images via a CDN in the latest WebP format, which you should definitely consider doing. WebP is a great initiative via Google that can help provide image formats as smaller by 25 to 34%, which is a pretty big, significant impact. So definitely look into doing that. Now, picking out a framework or a CDN can be really important. Cloudflare, great free CDN, not the best in terms of performance, but it also has those security features as well that should definitely be taken advantage of. Mac CDN is another great service, and there's hundreds, if not thousands, of CDNs coming to market that are really good. Amazon, Google both have a CDN available. Both are very powerful and both are very good. We choose Cloudflare purely down to its security features. In addition, it's easy to use access and it's free, sort of paid, free and paid options available. So that's our option, our preference. However, you can have better if performance is such a big factor for you. There is also the option of testing. So making sure that you're testing your website as well is really important. So GT metrics, web page tests, think like Google, Pingdom tools, page speed insights, which is Google's official, uptrends. So all these tools are sort of what we recommend and we use actively. We test with all of them and we suggest using a multiple of tools because one tool doesn't tell the entire story. Something to note is not always focusing on the fully load time, but the fully downloaded contentful paint time. So on this website is one of ours we've done for a client. Its first contentful paint is actually 230 milliseconds. Extremely quick, and its fully download load time is extremely quick as well. So that's something that you really want to consider when testing, is making sure that you're testing from a multiple of sort of sites and making sure that you're acting upon the suggestions of each different tool. Now, looking at a more advanced tool, there is geo-tagging. So geo-tagging is effectively applying a tag to an image that tells the search engine that this image was taken at this location. So this can be done in various different ways. We've actually used 2 tools. We use GeoImage Pro, which is a free tool for a certain amount of users, but because we saw such huge advantage to this tool and huge results from localizing images, so we can effectively tag, say, Brisbane area or a location within Brisbane to an image, upload that image, and then when search engines start to look through the website and see an image tagged in a location, it will give you more credit for that image based on its physical location. We actually developed our own tool called GeoImage. So GeoImage is effectively something very similar. However, it uses an API and allows you to do it in bulk. We also have heaps of free options available to make these image optimizations. You can also use Adobe Bridge if you do have an Adobe subscription. Above the fold content. So this is the content seen on a screen, effectively what you see when you load a website for the first time without any user scroll activity. You want this content to be the pinnacle of the page. You want it to have your title, image, and a piece of the description, or at least a piece of the article within. If you have massive padding or massive space above the fold, so we'll come back to this, but you can see our above the fold here has title, description, some of the content, and an image. It has everything you need to rank an article highly. I lost my microphone for a second. Hopefully I didn't lose too much. But making sure that your content above the fold isn't wasted space, the padding isn't too bad, and you're making great use of the information. Title, description, image, and a piece of the content all included above the fold. Don't waste space, condense the information. It's really important. You will lose results if you don't do this on both mobile and desktop. Now, the quality of content is the next category here. Arguably one of the more important features of any website. Brian Dean did a fantastic article, link right here to that article. It pretty much goes down and ranks a million different search results based on content. And it finds that the average piece of content in the second position is 2,000 words, but the average content in the first position is 1,890 words. So if you're putting articles out there at 500-600 words, even 300 words for a lot, you'll find that the ranking positions won't actually be there. You will not rank highly for those articles because people are pushing out higher quality content that is interesting and engaging for users. So make sure that you're pushing out long form content to your website and getting rid of all those short pages. If you do have short pages, don't consider making a new page. Reword that page, republish the page. It's something that's working really well right now in SEO is republishing already published content. It is something that you should definitely make use of, and making sure that you use at least one image. And I recommend that being an image above the fold. However, images throughout the content can be help use engagement for the user. So ensure that you're doing that. So keyword density. If your keyword for your target keyword, please watch our keyword video. If it is above like 2 or 3%, you're going to really struggle to rank that keyword. And by that, I mean, when you search for your keyword, mine's obviously on page SEO. On page SEO, it appears 3 times. That's fine. On page SEO, it appears 5 times. That's fine. That's a low density. If you're looking up your primary keyword and it's appearing 19, 20, 25 times, sometimes I've seen 60, 70 times, you will struggle to rank for that article because it is content spam. It will look like spam. It isn't appealing to the user. It reads poorly. It's obviously not going to serve the user the best, and Google's obviously not going to like that. So make sure that you keep your primary keywords to a minimum. There are tools out there to help you do that. Please take use of those tools and make sure that you're doing that. Duplicate content is content that is seen all over the website many, many times, or on other websites completely copied. E-commerce is bad for this, copying descriptions of products off the manufacturer's website and pasting it on your own. You'll find that nearly every supplier does that. So you won't rank. There's nothing just differentiating yourself from the other competition. Effectively, the exact same image, the exact same content, very similar in price. Why would Google show you over someone else? They won't. They'll show someone that's gone to the effort to put custom content out in more than likely a long form piece and showing unique content that is of more value to a user than the copy and paste method. You will not, and it's a common misconception, you will not lose positions, you will not get a penalty for duplicate content. However, you will struggle to rank if someone in your industry or your competition is doing unique content. Keep that in mind. Images multimedia, ensuring that each image has alt tags and a title tag is really important. Very unknown fact about Google, but Google can actually identify what is in an image. If you identify a picture of a bus, but the picture is, of course, a cat, it will not rank. It will not understand because it knows a cat versus a bus. They have a pattern out there that exists for their technology of identifying objects within images. So making sure that whatever you title these tags, it is actually informative to what the image is of. Using friendly titles is important. Calling something random such as 452 GF 1000 by 1000.jpg doesn't identify, hey, this is a picture of a bus, but using something useful can help identify that whilst also adding a title and an alt tag. These are very important pieces of information that Google will help rank your images and rank your page higher due to the fact that it understands what is in that image. So make sure that you're taking advantage of this. Each and every image on your website should have at least an alt tag and preference of a title tag as well. Now, URL optimization is another important factor. It is commonly known that short URLs will rank better than long URLs. As you can see, SEO on page. I could have made this SEO strategies to 2020. That would not have worked, and I would not have ranked, the positions would have ranked for this article if I had done that. It's very important to make sure that the URLs are accurate and precise and short. It's very important. So look through your URLs. If they're long, look at shortening them. Look at redirecting those long articles or long URLs back to the short variation of it and having them as short as possible based on your primary keyword. Don't try and include keywords in URLs. It is a strategy that is long past and it doesn't work anymore. So just try and keep the URLs short, and that will help improve your rankings by doing that. Now, making sure that you've got HTTPS enabled is really important. Google have started showing this message for websites that don't use HTTPS, so it's important to make sure that you've enabled that feature. If you don't know how to enable HTTPS, we do it for you. We have SSL certificates available, or an alternative is using such platforms as Cloudflare, which will provide you a free open source SSL certificate that you can use for your website to keep it secure and take advantage of the improvements of that. Google have made it very clear that they are ranking websites less that do not have this HTTPS feature. So enabling it will gain you instant rankings. Now, internal linking is a subject that will cause arguments between various SEOs and webmasters globally. It's something that you really want to make sure that you have perfected. Now, to keep it very clear and very precise, you want to rank, or you want to index your pages and internally link your pages to value the user. You do not want to link pages to value the search engines. Search engines understand. Search engines are very smart. They use AI. They're learning. They understand what your pages are about. Don't optimize internal links for SEO. But keep it in mind. It's very important to ensure that your articles and links throughout your website are linking to useful information on your website. So if you're linking to a page on your website that is unrelated to the topic of that link, it is actually disadvantaging that link. Make sure that you're not stuffing your content with useless links. Just keep links within your content. But it is still important to make sure that people can read content and find links on your site that link to useful information to back up a source or information. Now, external linking works in a very similar way. Services like Wikipedia that link out to citations that reference what they're trying to state rank really, really well because it adds page authority. It tells the search engine, okay, this page says this. The search engine doesn't know if that's true or factual. But when you start to link out to pages that also verify that fact, that are of authority, then it starts to give credit. It starts to apply credit to your page. So whilst we're linking out to pages like Ahrefs, we're linking out to pages that like B2B marketing, Moz, we're linking out to topical relevant sites within our industry that relate to what we're trying to tell. That adds value to both the user and the search engine to verify what we're saying is factually true and correct. It is not passing off value to them that we're losing. I can create a page about a local service or on-page SEO. I can search for on-page SEO and link to every single one of these top articles. And And that's not going to give them a better advantage because I've linked to them. It's actually going to give me the advantage if I've created a better article because I've linked to something that I believe is a great reference to the user. So I'm actually gaining a better advantage by linking to them than they're gaining by receiving my link. So keep that in mind. External linking to relevant topical subjects to your article is very important. Mobile friendliness is very important. One of the most, if not the most important, once again, Google's mobile first indexing as of July 1, 2019 is in place. Make sure that if your website is not mobile friendly, you are getting it mobile friendly ASAP. Please call or email us immediately. It will cause major issues if you are not mobile friendly. Keep that in mind. The key takeouts: optimize titles, descriptions, compress images, and serve the latest WebP format. All information will be provided above. Invest in a local server. Do not have your server in a geographical location that is not close to your target demographic. Implement schema markup into your code, so local business schema. Make sure that you've got the organization schema, web page, and website schema in place, and you've got a sitemap in place as well. Obviously, we do these services for you. This is a service that we offer on all of our websites. We will make sure that every single one of these is ticked off and it's perfectly optimized for all of these on-page SEO factors. So if you have any sort of comments or would like to ask any questions, please leave them in the comments. We will answer each and every one of them. On-page SEO is definitely a harder to do sort of thing than off-page SEO, for example, and it can get a little bit more technical. Code can be involved. Leave comments below. We will reply to all. Even if you're asking how to do something, we'll send you an article or make a video personalized for you for how to do something. If you have enjoyed the content, please subscribe. We will be making plenty more videos explaining how things work, how SEO works, how search engines work, how you can improve your SEO for your website. We'll also cover web design. We'll also cover paid advertising options as well. So make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, like the video. That all goes a long way. Until our next video, good luck.